I'm going to craft an original, commentary-driven YouTube script inspired by the topic you provided, but I won't mirror the source structure or paraphrase it sentence for sentence. I'll build a fresh narrative with bold opinions, fresh angles, and a creator's persona. Here we go. Hook. What happens when two rugby league titans collide on the airwaves? A rib injury, a heated debate, and a moment that feels like watching a high-stakes chess match where every move is personal. Today we are unpacking a fiery clash between Gorden Tallis and Pete Badel, why it sparked such a reaction, and what it reveals about media, loyalty, and the psychology of sports fandom. Context setup. In a world where athletes juggle public duties and private battles, a grand final rematch story became a mirror for bigger questions. How should players handle media obligations after a hit to the body? What happens when a journalist and a former champion lock horns over responsibility, optics, and timing? This isn't just about a rib injury, it's about the culture around sport, visibility, and accountability. Main breakdown. Idea 1. Optics versus reality in athlete media bookings. Commentary. Personally, I think the optics of Reynolds doing media so soon after a rib injury matter because they shape public expectations about resilience and availability. When a key player is juggling an injury and press commitments, it sends mixed signals to fans, sponsors, and teammates. From my perspective, this is less about a single interview and more about a larger narrative. Should star players be shielded from every spotlight when they are hurt, or is openness part of leadership? Interpretation. The debate hinges on whether being seen publicly implies courage or whether it risks sensationalizing the injury. I'd argue that transparency plus strategic timing is the sweet spot. Acknowledge the pain, share the plan, protect the agent of the moment from overexposure, and keep the core message steady. Analysis. This speaks to a broader trend in sports media where athletes are expected to perform off the field as much as on it. The more public someone is, the more consequences ripple through team dynamics, endorsements, and fan sentiment. The Tallis-Badel exchange isn't just about Reynolds, it's a case study in how much weight a single media moment holds in a season's momentum. Reflection. If you take a step back, you see the tension, accountability to the game versus accountability to the audience. The bigger question is whether the sport should normalize quick media for injured players or create a culture that prioritizes recovery conversations over sensational sound bites. Speculation. Could this debate actually accelerate a new norm where medical timelines and media appearances are coordinated more tightly? If clubs start treating press windows like medical windows, we might see more disciplined messaging and fewer confusing signals. Idea 2. The dynamics of a fire versus fortitude domino. Commentary. What makes this clash so magnetic is not just the facts, but the personas. Tallis embodies the old school, unfiltered, I'll tell you how it is archetype. Badel represents the sharp, modern journalist who pushes until the edge. When you put those two on a stage, you don't get a tidy report, you get a conflict with electricity. Interpretation. This is a staple of sports storytelling, the veteran maverick versus the staunch journalist who won't back down. It's a lens into how media personalities shape the interpretation of events for millions watching at home. The intensity matters because it creates memorable moments that drive engagement beyond the game itself. Analysis. The Raging Bull metaphor isn't just a nickname, it signals a narrative about power, presence, and the performative aspect of leadership. If we read between the lines, the exchange is a test of who gets to set the frame, the ex-player with the history or the reporter with the questions and technique. Reflection. People often underestimate how much a narrative fight can influence a season's mood. A compelling clash can rally fans, polarize critics, and redefine a player's legacy, without a single on-field touch. Speculation. If more debates like this emerge, we might see leagues embracing controlled, televised opinion duels as a form of fan engagement, with clear boundaries to protect players. It could be an engine for dramatic storytelling without compromising on integrity. Idea 3. The psychology of watching uncomfortable TV. Commentary. Anasta's glee at watching a live, tense exchange is more than entertainment, it's a window into audience psychology. We crave authenticity, the raw human moment where nerves show and ego scrapes the surface. Personally, I think those moments pull viewers closer because they feel real, not rehearsed. Interpretation. When a host and a guest navigate discomfort, it creates a shared experience for the audience. It's not just about who's right, it's about who can hold their ground under pressure and keep a conversation from tipping into personal attack. Analysis. The moment of nearly losing control or laughing at awkward tension becomes a social currency, clips go viral, people quote lines, and the show's tone becomes a reference point for future discussions. This is how modern sports media compounds attention, through emotionally charged, imperfect conversations. Reflection. Viewers mistake this for chaos or escalation, but there's a method to it, the creation of memory anchors around the people involved and the ideas debated. Those anchors shape how fans think about Reynolds' injury, Tallis' temperament, and Badel's journalistic stance for years. Speculation. If this kind of exchange becomes a recurring feature, expect more precise moderation tools and perhaps more structured truth detection segments to balance emotion with clarity. Idea 4. The human side, Reynolds' long game. Commentary. Reynolds is framed here as the beneficiary of both respect and caution. From my view, leadership isn't just about performance, it's about how you navigate your public role when you're sidelined. Reynolds' future, including retirement, adds gravity to every choice he makes in the media cycle. Interpretation. The takeaway isn't just about an injured captain popping up on a show. It's about how athletes manage a life after sport, including media, branding, and mentorship roles. The narrative around his injury becomes a broader blueprint for longevity in a high-visibility career. Analysis. In the grand scheme, this moment reveals how a star's off-field presence can shape his on-field outcomes. If fans feel seen and respected in injury discourse, it fortifies trust and loyalty, which translates into post-retirement opportunities and ongoing influence within the sport. Reflection. What many people don't realize is that a single media appearance can ripple into sponsorship calculations, contract momentum, and even player development pipelines. It's not trivial, it's strategic career management. Speculation. As players plan for life after football, we might see more deliberate media education, with teams coordinating public messaging to preserve a player's brand while preserving medical privacy and recovery timelines. Deeper insight. What this really suggests is a larger pattern. Sports media is less about reporting and more about constructing narrative ecosystems. The Tallis-Badel clash is a case study in how conflicting frames can generate engagement, trust, and controversy all at once. The episode also highlights a growing desire for authenticity with boundaries. Fans want passion and personality, but they also want respect for teams, medical staff, and the integrity of the sport. The balance between candor and care is the tightrope many broadcasters walk today. If the trend continues, media moments could become strategic assets for clubs and leagues, not just for drama's sake but to crystallize values, competitiveness, accountability, resilience, in ways that endure beyond a single season. Closing thought. So, what's the real takeaway? This isn't just about a rib injury or one fiery exchange. It's about how sports culture negotiates visibility, leadership, and memory in the age of instantly shareable moments. The Reynolds storyline, the Tallis-Badel clash, and the broader media dynamics all point to a future where authentic, high-stakes conversation could become as core to the sport's identity as the game itself. If you had to choose, would you prefer a calm, polished broadcast or these unscripted, high-tension conversations that feel like watching the heart of rugby league beat live? Tell me in the comments which side you're on, and what other moments you think will redefine how we talk about sport in public. Follow-up question. Would you like me to tailor this script to a specific YouTube style, e.g., rapid-fire analysis, long-form essay, or punchy 8 to 10 minute breakdown, or adjust the tone toward a particular audience, strictly fans, casual viewers, or a global mixed audience.